This seat right here cost me $1,000. Well, it was actually $900, but after Uncle Sam took his piece of the cut, and then the gas to get there, and the food that I ate to make sure I fit extra snug when I tried it out, and the opportunity cost, it was more like $1 million, but I figured I'd just round it down to 1,000. Now I know that's a lot for a sim rig, but like I said in my previous NRG review video, I'm kind of tired of buying cheaper stuff and then having to replace it over time. I'd rather just buy once, cry once, and get it over with. A seat is also a very important piece to a sim rig that I think a lot of people overlook. It's kind of like a bed or an office chair. You want a good one because you're gonna be spending a lot of time in it and you wanna be comfortable. If you spend 50% of your life sleeping and the other 50% of your life sim racing, that's quite a lot of time, and you want to be in some good stuff. But there's one more reason that I went with the Sparco seat, and that's because of all the safety certifications for real life racing and track days and stuff like that, which I'm currently making some plans down the line. That way I could swap the seat into a track car of some sort and then swap it back to the rig when I'm done with the track day and just put the OEM seat back in that car. But if you don't care about all the safety certifications to put it in a real car, then you can save $100 by getting the uncertified gaming version, so there's that too. I recently moved back to Southern California, and one of the good things about being in this area is that I am close to a lot of different automotive companies like Sparco. One of my best friends lives in Orange County, and me and him are like Nacho and Esqueleto. On second thought, I'm more like Ramses, and he's more like one of the tag team terrors. Plus 10 points if you know these references. Anyways, when he asked me to help him remodel his room from a trash dump to a 5-star room at the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas, I agreed, but only because I had some ulterior motives. And that's because he lives pretty close to Sparco, so I could knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. Wait, not these guys. I guess they get to live another day. Now I know one of the hardest things about buying a proper seat for your sim rig is not being able to try it before you buy it. Thankfully, the Sparco showroom gave me the opportunity to try a ton of different seats and really pick out which one was the best for me. But I also figured I'd give you some pointers on what I liked and didn't like and what I think might be the best option for you. Walking inside, the first thing you see is a nice AE86 that I'm sure you initial D guys would enjoy. Now onto the seats. If you've got a lot of money to burn, you can option for some full carbon or Kevlar seats and even some extra crispy seats. If you like leather and suede and want a little form over function, then they do have these seats, but I wouldn't recommend those for sim racing. Instead, I'd recommend the seats that come down to this row. I chose the Evo. It is 100% the safest choice. It's like the original Coca-Cola of seats. It also comes in a variety of sizes, so there's bound to be one that works for you. I chose the regular size as I'm somewhere around a 32-inch waist, and a regular size was really snug for me, which is exactly what I wanted. I mean, just check out the cushions after I did a few laps at Le Mans. That's like a 23andMe DNA test confirming my Cuban heritage. But if that's not snug enough for you, I don't know what is. If you are getting a seat for a real life car, real life racing, you definitely do want it to be a little bit more snug. That way you're not bracing your body against the seat with your leg, and you can more so just kind of sit tight in there and let your feet do all the footwork they need and not waste any energy just trying to hold yourself up. If I was only using the seat for just sim racing, I could have gone up to a size large just to have a little bit more comfort and a little bit more room. And my buddy who's about the same size as me actually preferred that little bit of extra comfort from the large seat. So I prefer to be really nice and tight in the seat, but you can go a size up if you just want that extra room. Pro 2000 is what I originally planned on getting before I walked in, but this was more for a size 34 waist, and the bolsters on the sides are really aggressive, so your elbows might potentially rub while steering depending on your seating position. The kidney pillows attracted me to it, but the Evo has built-in kidney cushions, so overall I'd still recommend the Evo over this. If you're a really big person, then you might like the Grid Q, but if not, then I would probably stray away from it. Then there's a QRT. This one had me debating quite a bit. It's like an Evo, but your butt sinks in a little lower. That's great if you need to get your seating position as low as possible, especially if you have some constraints in a certain car, but it lifts your legs a little higher because of that really low seating position, and I actually kind of like that about it. Although I could definitely see this as a love it or hate it type seat, and ultimately I went with the Evo because it was still slightly more snug and probably a safer bet long term. Lastly, there's the Sparco gaming formula seat. I really like the way this seat looked, and I've debated multiple times on getting it, but when I actually tried it, I really didn't like it at all. I've got some minor lower back issues, and I was expecting the load of my body to transfer more evenly across the whole bottom of the seat, given that it's a formula type seating position, and I was hoping it would cradle me like a sweet little baby. Instead, I felt like it was just targeting that pain point of my lower back, and it just really wasn't comfortable for me. Perhaps if I just gave it a little bit more seat time, I would have liked it a little bit more, but my first initial impression really wasn't great, and I wanted to kind of get out of it as soon as possible, which is really unfortunate because the seat does look really good and there's not a lot of formula options on the market. But I know there are people that absolutely love this seat, so it could just be a polarizing situation. After taking the seat home and slapping it on my rig and running a couple races, I am absolutely super happy with my purchase. So far, it's been worth every penny and just so much more comfortable than what I was using before. I plan on doing a full review after I've done a few billion more laps. I think that should be enough for a good review, and see if I still like it by then. So if you haven't already, subscribe so you won't miss out on that. As always, leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.